All right, guys. Hold on. All right, so just Elizabeth Willow Tarot today because my camera is not working. So it's just a voice from the ethers. And that's a little bit not focused yet. So let's go ahead and get that card deck going. All right, so welcome. I'm Elizabeth and I'm with Willow Tarot. And if you forget that at any time, look at your screen. Here we are. This is wonderful. I am on live and I will be looking at your comments. I'm going to set up the screen so that I can continue to do so. And we are ready to go. All right, let's do this. So what we're going to start off today with, guys, and if you're super curious about seeing what the deck looks like, it's going to be in most of my videos because I read from this often. And this one is Seasons of the Witch. Seasons of the Witch is the name of a series of oracle cards. They gain specificity because they each talk about a different pagan holiday. We are currently sitting in Litha, spelled Litha. So Seasons of the Witch, Litha Oracle is what we'll be reading from this morning for our first card pull. This is by Lorraine Anderson and Julia Diaz and illustrated by Tajana Lukovic. Now the illustrators do change. So if you do fall in love with the graphics on any deck, the artwork on any deck, then you might want to go ahead and check out that illustrator. Consider following their work, giving them publicity. When you subscribe, it helps. It really helps. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to share with you briefly what I'm currently manifesting because I do speak often on manifestation. It is an actual part of my life, serving a practical purpose, as well as adding that touch of fantasy and whimsy. Because when I imagine what I want, I manifest it, I bring it into the reality in which I exist. That's fucking awesome. So I'm currently manifesting being invited to the Omega Institute located in Rhinebeck, New York. You can find them at eomega.org. To be invited to the Omega Institute, and when I say this, is to speak there, to teach there, to have a format in which they would like me to express on. Well, when you subscribe to my channel, that number goes up. I've just recently hit 200. Guys, thank you so much. All of my subscribers, I really appreciate you. And I want to show you that appreciation. I don't know how yet, but I do have a paper planner, which I write in often, and I will write down some ideas. I'm actually, although you can't see me currently write down ideas for how to say thank you to my subscribers. Please subscribe, because when those numbers go up, I gain momentum. People will see it. And also, eventually, I will reach out to Omega Institute. I will say, may I come if they haven't already asked me, and I'll get there. It will also be incredibly financially beneficial to me to be invited to speak there rather than pay to attend a class. Although I'm happy to give them my money once I've got money to give. I would like to get invited. Save me a ton. Save me well over $1,000. And that's what the whole point of this is. I want to speak there. However I get to speak there, I want to speak there. All right, so I am literally right now going to write it down. I'm going to put thank you in quotes to subscribers. And then I will come up with what I'm going to do. I think alive, because that seems to make sense. And I'll pull cards, something like that. All right, let's go. So let's go to the Leap to Oracle, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for tuning in, locking in, and giving yourself the creative power of listening. Let's pull that card. All right, I'm shuffling. You can shuffle for as long as you want, in whatever way you wish. There is no wrong way to shuffle. Immediately, I see someone doing like this Gambit character from Marvel, from X-Men, and he's like flinging a tarot card into someone's eye and skewering their brain. That might be, in some circles, considered wrong. We're not really going there today, but I always seem to want to play devil's advocate with my own mind. So why not share? All right, here we go. It'd be interesting to see what this card's about. We have Roses, card 30. Card 30, with 0 being a non-placeholder in this way. We have 3, and that's the Empress. Key 3 in the major arcana is the Empress. A personal practice of mine is to pull in the majors to give some clarity, some insight to the card itself. It's 2 people holding each other. And it says roses. They're standing and they're hugging. We do not see their faces. The statement on the card, the soft petal felt upon your flesh is ready to release her thorns. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's brilliant. All right, let's do this again. It took me that I had to think of it. I let it unfold in my mind, and I visualize what I'm reading because I visualize that that is not something you do it another way, but you do gain clarity. Let's look at this. Let's read this again. The soft petal felt upon your flesh is ready to release her thorns. So when you meet someone at first, you might say, oh gosh, so sweet, so nice, let's party. You know, whatever you want to say. That's that first encounter, the softness. Normally, when I meet people, they're not like screaming in my face or trying to beat me up. They're nice. They're pleasant. They want me to want to hang out with them. That is that soft petal. That does not mean that there is not a thorn there. Of course there is. We all carry our thorns. Self-defense. 9 of Wands. 7 of Wands. In preparation of 8 of Wands. So the soft petal felt upon your flesh is also the way in which you receive someone. You judge, and I should not do that. Why am I saying that? I'm being judgy. I judge when I meet people. I judge that soft petal upon my flesh. And I judge when I feel that petal turn to the thorny prick. That's a judgment. That's what I view that reality as. But it's also beautiful to make connections, to see out there who is my friend. And friend, there are many of us to each other, friends. This is beautiful too, because before I go to the book, I do want to share that just this morning, I wrote out, meaning I went to AI and asked AI to create details. I use AI to create the details for my events because I don't write call. To create an event online for us all to come together for a meet and greet with the idea that those that are local to McKinney, and local is just meaning however far you're willing to drive, we're going to meet in person. So this is beautiful. It's a perfect card. Let's go to the book. You see how we can take this, I can take this. The meaning is for me. Just as the same as the meaning is for you, but the meaning that we receive may not be the same, but they are both correct. They are for the individual. Laws do not always work, right? One law for the populace, that's bullshit. We're individuals. All right, let's go to the book. After I clear my throat chakra. All right, it's a good one. Few symbols represent love more than the rose. Its delicate petals and pretty shades meet prickly thorns and sturdy stems, much like love in the real sense. A rose is beauty intertwining with the occasional pain, all in an enduring dance of sharing your life with another. Roses in your spread symbolize an eternal love that has the potential to stand the test of time. It may not be fast or especially passionate, but it is solid and supportive, affectionate and endearing. It's the kind of love that reinvents itself, like a rose turning into a dried flower and expressing its beauty in a completely new way. If you are in a relationship, your partner is reliable and prefers to express themselves in practical ways rather than grand romantic gestures. They're more likely to fill your car with gas or take out the trash than to whisk you away to Paris, but you'll never have to question their loyalty. If you're seeking love, this card reminds you to consider someone who may not be the most attractive or interesting, but will be a soft place for you to land and rest your head through the good times and bad. If your reading is about someone outside of a romantic relationship, receiving this card is confirmation of their devotion to you, or a sign that they are okay and you don't have to worry about them. They will find the help and support they need. The same can be said for you if you're experiencing difficult times. Help is on the way in the form of a supportive friend, mentor, or family member. Releasing Rose Bono, or Banyo. I'm not sure if this is Spanish. Rose is a powerful nurturer and a simple rose bath to help you release what is no longer serving you while greatly embracing you is perfect when you draw this card. You'll need a red candle, a handful of rose petals, and 1 tablespoon of honey. Before I continue, I want to say intention is everything. You do not need to have the red candle, the handful of rose petals, or a tablespoon of honey. Your imagination is there and it is serving you with purpose. Imagine the red candle. Imagine a handful of rose petals and imagine a tablespoon of honey. And if you do not imagine in your mind, see images, aphantasia, can you imagine? Can you taste on your tongue what honey might be? It can be anything that you want it to be. If you've never had honey, imagine it to be a flavor that you are familiar with and call it honey. Intention is everything in manifestation, and you are manifesting the bath. You can manifest the bath with a red candle, a handful of rose petals, and 1 tablespoon of honey, or just the imagination therein. Do not stop. Continue and use the resources at hand. Do not stop. All right, the book says, fill the bath and light the candle. While doing so, think of the scent of roses. Sprinkle the rose petals slowly over the bath water, then get into the bath and take a moment to ground into the warmth of the water spirit embracing you. The water spirit. Guys, you're in there with elementals. The rose kissing your flesh and the scent of the roses filling your spirit. When you are ready, pour the honey into the bath water and ask honey, literally honey, ask honey, you are speaking with honey, to bring sweetness into your bath experience. Allow Rose to gently travel with you into the emotions, thoughts, or spaces you wish for her to guide you with. Oh, that was gorgeous. I love this stuff. Love, love, love. So while we are off camera in the Zoom room, this is a little different. If you do have questions, please raise that hand in between decks. Okay, let's see. Where's okay. So that again was Seasons of the Witch. Now we are in Letha Oracle, but we are going to be moving. You know, maybe Google the calendar of the pagan holidays. If you're looking at getting a deck, maybe get one. Get this one, girl. If you got the money, get them all. But if you want to get them one at a time, if you're searching like half price books, thrift books, just maybe get the ones that you find. But if you have the comfort of selecting any of them, maybe get one in the future. Maybe get one for the next holiday so you are good to go, because the holidays are about 6 weeks long. This is an estimate. So you got time. Okay. If you are also reading tarot or interested, they have released the season of winter, but it's not going to be called that. I'm not sure what it's called. It might be called Winter Tarot. And I pre-ordered that and got it. I'm going to be real. I didn't read with it. I got a little thrown by it, but that happens with some of my decks. I actually decided to wait a year and read with it this winter. But she also has a summer one, I think. I have one on pre-order and it comes out in August. My birthday's August 5th. Leo. Yeah, anyway, okay, enough of that. So I tend to start talking about other things and then sometimes I don't stop talking about them. So what we're going to do right now is usually I stay with Oracle, but today we are going to incorporate tarot. So we are going to pull from Runes for Modern Life. This is the Elder Futhark runes. And we're going to couple that with a tarot deck that I am currently using. I'm not using my decks. Bitch, get over here. No, I'm reading with them. I'm communing with them. Kiki. All right. So, Runes for Modern Life, and that is by Teresa Chung and illustrations by Camilla Perkins. So, I'm gonna also pull from the Zend Out Journey Tarot by Cassie Uhl, spelled U-H-L. All right, and we'll read these together. The rune card that we'll be reading from, again, the Elder Futhark runes, is going to be Ansu's, which means it's one of the meanings is divine communication. We're reading fucking runes. Yes, it's divine communication. Fuck yes. What are we going to pull from tarot? The High Priestess. It's about the same thing. If I were to immediately associate a tarot card, the Sun, clarity, insight, the high priestess. Yes, we're communing and divine telepathy. God spoke to me. So did my neighbor Bob. How's he doing? You know, we're all telepathic. It's just expressing that. I think. I think we all have the ability to be telepathic. I mean, yeah. So let's go ahead and pull that tarot card. The tarot card is a form of divine messages in and of itself, the entire freaking deck. All right, we have still shuffling. All right, we have Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles. Okay, well, what are we growing? We're growing the idea that we are capable of divine messages. Yeah, how do we do that? With confidence, with repetition, with practice, with belief, with manifestation. Manifestation also, who am I surrounding myself with? Am I surrounding myself with people who are going to support me in my beliefs, in my practices, who are going to offer me comfort and confidence when I need them, and that I am willing and in want of offering confidence and comfort back to them? Reciprocity from kindness instead of obligation. So when we look at Page of Pentacles and Ansus, it's also a farmer in the field. There is divine communication in the knowledge that what they plant must be rotated. The crop cannot remain consistent. The soil depleted must be revived. That is Ansus. That is divine communication. That is saying, I know and respect the ancestors and I listen to them still. Okay, so let's go to the book for the runes. And let's see what the book says. Ansus. Meaning, divine, God. Strongly associated with divine communication, this rune card suggests that you need to pay close attention to messages and advice offered to you, either written or spoken. However, this card goes far deeper than mere external communication and can indicate that the true insight you are seeking can only be found by searching within. Learn from and be inspired by the wisdom that external voices or divine signs, such as coincidences, offer, but also be a discerning spiritual seeker from the inside out. This means doing your research and forming your own opinions rather than simply accepting all that you are told or presented with by others. It also means having the courage and humility to question your own assumptions and preconceptions. Personal transformation is about being open-minded enough to search for what is true, even if that truth is, at times, uncomfortable to confront. And with the Page of Pentacles, we are not just left with what is on the inside, what no one can see and help us strengthen or tear down, right? We got to express what's on the inside for someone to help us. Page of Pentacles is saying, grow that shit. Put it out there on your front fucking porch and let the neighbors see it. Don't be ashamed. Be you. Fuck them. Page of Pentacles is what you grow. What you choose to have within you and expose to the world. The queen to the king, the empress to the emperor. What we have in our mind, we have an ability to create. We find those that will help us create it. The Page of Pentacles. We grow what we need from the earth itself. We grow food because we will die without it. If we can feed a fucking planet, then we can listen to our own inner voice. All right, guys, loving that. Maybe we'll keep going. I'm like staring right at the screen, but there's no one there. Well, there is actually. Why did I just say that? That's horrible. Okay, so let's put the, again, that was the Zend Out Journey Tarot. I have a story behind the Zend Out Journey Tarot, why I chose it, which I won't be telling now. But maybe in the future. All right, and the rune deck, it's a fun one. Runes for Modern Life. It's a fun one. If you guys are looking for something like light, easy entry into runes, and you'd like a lot of bright colors, I highly suggest Runes for Modern Life. Ancient divination cards for today's dilemmas, illustrations by Camilla Perkins and text by Teresa Chung, spelled Cheung. All right. When you look at the clock, we are doing great. So let me move some of my cards I keep together. So I'll make sure I keep those together. We are going, oopsies. Forgot to put the guidebook back in there. We're going to go next to Stellar Visions Oracle cards. And this is a 53 card deck and guidebook by Stephanie Gailing and illustrated by Social Days. Yeah. So very pretty. It has metallic gold accents. Very pretty. And it's an oversized deck, which I like. I can see the images. It's fun. The colors are gorgeous, so I like seeing all of them. It has a very soft appeal. It has a watercolor effect at times, not always. Not every image, some of them. Or we might have hard lines, but within those hard lines is a watercolor. You know, it's a beautiful deck in my opinion. If you've liked the other ones I've shown you, you might like this. It has a focus with pastels against a darker backdrop, so they really pop. It's pretty. All right, let's see what we get. Yeah, I'm a Leo. I might have mentioned that. And my birthday's coming up. Leo, Leo, Leo. So you could take Leo and you could spell it out, in English, Leo. And then you could say, oh, okay, well, L in the Elder Futhark runes is Lagus, meaning lake, direct translation of lake. But what does that mean? Depth of character. Let's go see it. Shadow work would be Lagus, you know. So you can express the inner intricacies and magic of letters by using the Elder Futhark runes. You can take my name, Elizabeth. That's a long one, you know, but attach it to a rune. If you have repetitive sounds in your name, like say your name is Danny. So let's say you spell it Dann, even IE or Y, but the two N's, you only need to do that once because it's a repetition of sound. You do not need to recreate the rune. So you would actually spell it out like Danny, Danny would be Dagas, Ansus, Nafis. I am not a popular person yet, 76. Nafis. I'm trying to get that accent on the first syllable. And then what did I say? I.e. Isa, and then E. Awas. So you would take each of those, spelling it out. You might, when people quickly say, never mind, I'm not gonna go there. Okay, so that's the idea with the runes. If you have questions or if you're curious, get to me. I'll do a rune. I'll do stuff on runes. I'll focus on runes. All right, let me know what y'all want to see. Because subscribe. Please subscribe. I want to go to the Omega Institute. I'll take pictures. I'll send videos. We'll do drops. Get me there, guys. Get me to the Omega Institute. You're like, there's this chick, Elizabeth. She lives in Texas. I love her. Because the Omega Institute's in New York, which is actually where I was born. I just was raised in the South my whole life. All right. I'm actually a Northern girl. New Yorker with a Southern accent. Welcome home, y'all. It's the future. All right, let's do this. Let's do this thing. Pulling a card. We pulled retrograde, bitches. Hold on. Keep your arms and your hands, because your hands and your arms are connected. Keep them inside the right at all times, folks. We're going into retrograde. Go ahead and straighten your head on. I realize you just did a 180 with it. There's Leo, but we're not going to that. Can't understand why. Retrograde. Oh. Aren't we in retrograde right now? Mercury again. Mercury, I just talked to you. Hello. Okay, you're getting a little pushy. Okay, hold on. Actually, I try to avoid technology as much, physically touching technology as much as possible. Oh my gosh, that's something really important I want to share with you guys, but if I start talking about it, I'll forget. So we're going to go to retrograde first, but hopefully I'll remember to tell you about a town where there are very few EMF waves. All right. In the country, in the United States. All right. Retrograde, meaning review. Inspirations. Honor the power of the pause. Review, reevaluate, and redesign. Be open to a new way of viewing things. Turn to the past for treasured insights. 6 of Cups. Actually, let's do that with power. Turn to the past for treasured insights. 6 of Cups.
Be open to a new way of viewing things, the high priestess. Review, reevaluate, and redesign. Mother, the world? Give me a break. Anything from the flow of the world. Honor the power of the pause. Oh, we got the hermit, we got the hermit, and we also have the hanged one. Dude, all those fuckers sitting in thrones don't look like they've moved in a minute, so you can throw them in there too. Oracle. When the retrograde card comes into your awareness, people, places, or ideas from the past hold the key to the answers you're seeking. So many experiences you've recently had. Therefore, retrace your path, going back over territory you've previously traveled in order to discover skipped steps or information you didn't initially capture. Also, instead of solely relying upon your usual perspective, see how orienting from a different vantage point, including more readily turning to your intuition, can provide you with unique layers of understanding. Move thoughtfully and recognize the power inherent in pauses and respites. Be patient and let things simmer before moving forward. The payoff for taking your time will be well worth it. Astrology of retrograde. When a planet is retrograde, it appears to be traveling backward in a direction opposite than usual. These periods emphasize reviewing, reevaluating, redesigning, and turning to the past for insights. They offer us opportunities to approach the realms governed by the retrograde planet in a more reflective and intuitive way. On the days surrounding the beginning and end of a retrograde cycle, that planet's archetypes seem to be more prominent in our awareness. Okay, that's actually the last card, but it also offers the affirmation. So each card offers an affirmation and a stellar reflection question. The affirmation for the card retrograde is, seeing things differently is one of my strengths. Seeing things differently is one of my strengths. The stellar reflection question for retrograde from the deck Stellar Visions Oracle cards. The stellar reflection question is, who from my past can help me solve a current problem? Who from my past can help me solve a current problem? That could be tricky. I will give that one a lot of thought, y'all. And sometimes it's an intellectual exercise. You're like, oh, that'd be Bob. Why do I keep saying Bob? Bob, are you listening? Bob the drag queen, are you listening? Oh my freaking God. Okay, anyway, that'd be awesome. God, now I forgot what I was going to say. Right. So it might just be an exercise. Oh yeah, it might be Bob the drag queen that can help me with this problem. That does not mean that I'm going to go start stalking Bob the drag queen because I think that this person can help me with something that I need help with. Yeah, so can I can help myself. So it could be an intellectual exercise. Now, you could reach out to Bob. Be real friendly now. Be real friendly. You could reach out to Bob. You know, it's your thing. Do it. All right, guys. Let's go to the blind spot oracle. Buckle up. Because this is a doozy. This is the blind spot oracle, which last time I looked was on sale. I paid 34 gag, and now it's 26. Anyway, it's a good one. The deck itself is not, I don't usually start with what it isn't. So let's say what it is. It's sigils. So it's very straightforward. They're a beautiful bluish white background, a very deep blue, and it looks like, because it's all a graphic, right? It's a picture. Like papyrus or singed paper around the side, old paper, and a black line drawing, a thick line drawing, but a black line drawing. That's it. You get that in a number. It's a sigil. So thinking of runes, right? That's like a rune deck. It's going to have a picture of the rune, but sometimes they'll put pictures. She didn't. She just put the rune, the sigil. Well, the sigil is a combination of characters. So it's my understanding. So she's saying sigils. So they're a combination of energies brought together under a single character or sigil. Yeah, y'all might want to Google that shit because I don't think that sounded right. All right, so the Blind Spot Oracle cards by Teal Swan.
It's a heavy hitter. Let's go ahead and think. If you have had a question, you can stay with it. If you want to tweak it, you don't need a question. You do not need to pre-program your destiny. You can show up here having no fucking clue what day it is and still get a message. All right, let's do that because it's so much easier. The blind spot, the world. I am leaving myself open to what would be nice to hear now. Nice does not mean that it's going to make me happy. What would be nice to hear? What would be good to hear now? Taking into consideration that I am glorious and divine in my nature. What is good to hear? What is nice to hear? I am speaking to body. I am speaking with body. I am speaking with mind. I am speaking with smile. I am a circle. All right, let's see. I stopped myself from doing it. Well, we've got this one. No, we're having. Oh, I know I can't show you the card. It's a doozy. 78. I swear. That was the last one. What? That the retrograde card was the last in that deck. This is the last in this deck. Oh wow. Well, shit. This is gonna get real. So the card 78 is called or addresses self-preservation disguised as self-sabotage. I'm gonna give y'all a second to sit down. If you have drawn this sigil, and we have you or someone in the situation is actively engaged in self-sabotage. But you, and potentially they, are unaware that the part of you or them that is doing the sabotaging is convinced it is preserving you or them. Unless you fully understand the perspectives and motives of this part that is doing the sabotaging with understanding and compassion, you will stay stuck relative to this situation. Here are some examples of self-sabotage, which will develop in a moment. Procrastination, holding on to addictions, doing things that push someone away while professing that we want a relationship to work. Self-sabotage is essentially thoughts, words, and actions, behaviors that are self-defeating. They work against you when it comes to attaining something that you want. I chew the skin around my nails. I don't chew my nails, but I'll chew that out, fight that skin. That does not help me. Do I repeat that behavior? Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, that is self-sabotage. Okay, and that's also an addiction. So we don't need to go to, oh, you smoke crack? Shit. No, it's I bite the fucking skin around my nails. Back up. Okay, let's not do self-blame or shame here either. Be gentle. You're the only one of you on this planet, and the planet needs you. Please be gentle with yourself. Consciousness can help. Oh, sorry. Consciousness can and does split itself. This means that even though we call ourselves by one name and therefore identify ourselves as being one unified thing, the reality is that we are more of an amalgamation of fragmented parts or selves. We are more like a mosaic or a stained glass window. Our degree of internal suffering is about the degree of harmony or lack thereof between these internal selves. If you are experiencing self-sabotage, it is because not all of your internal selves or parts agree with your conscious desires. One or more of them is resisting or opposing the parts that contain your conscious desires. If any of your internal parts or selves is resisting or opposing your desires, or if any of them is hurting other parts of you in any way, it is because they think it is in your best interest for them to do so. In other words, they believe they are saving your life by not going along with your plan. For this reason, you cannot say that they are against you. They just don't agree with the rest of you about how to be for you. And here are some examples. We have something to do, but we procrastinated. In this scenario,
one fragment or part within us, the one we are consciously identified with, has made the decision to do something. The other part thinks that doing that thing will lead to discomfort or some kind of pain. Therefore, it is trying to prevent you from experiencing that pain by keeping you from doing it. Another example, we hold on to addictions like binge eating or drinking. In this scenario, one part, the one we are consciously identified with, has decided it is committed to stop the addiction. The other part believes that the life you want is not actually possible to achieve, and so it thinks that letting go of the addiction will simply make it so you are in hell alone and now have to just sit in agony of that misery permanently. It would rather you have the drug. Another example. Consciously, we really want a relationship to work, but we keep pushing the other person away or doing and saying things to create conflict in the relationship. In this scenario, one fragment or part within us, the one we are consciously identified with, has made the decision to be in a relationship and make it work. Another part knows that relationships have been so painful in the past and that it has been abandoned, and therefore thinks abandonment is inevitable. So it is trying to save you from the pain of getting attached to something you are inevitably going to lose. Another example. You consciously want a job, but you suddenly say things in the interview that make the boss check you off his list of candidates. In this scenario, one part of you has decided the best idea is to work at that job. The other part thinks that job is not what you should be doing, that it is in the opposite direction of your authentic essence. Therefore, life will be drudgery and effort if you take that job. And the final example, self-hate. Obviously, self-hate is the exception to the rule, right? Think again. When you discover the parts involved in self-hate, what you find is that a person internalizes their external abuser. Essentially, one part feels that by hating and punishing, and therefore trying to get another part to change, it is preventing them from getting that hate, disapproval, shaming, and punishment from the outside, from another person. By doing so, it is trying to get the person the love they so desperately need from the outside. Oh, that's rough. Oh my fucking God. And that can be children with their caregivers, a person being abused by someone that insists they love them. But again, we bring this forward from our childhood, guys. And this is just, these cards are ways to help us maybe understand a little bit more. Maybe to understand that we need additional help, or that we need time within ourselves so that we understand how to express to the exterior world the people that we truly love and deserve love by. If you have drawn this sigil, you are being called to remember that, metaphorically speaking, what any form of self-sabotage always has in common is that one part thinks the answer to a good life and happiness is going left, and another part thinks that going left is literally the road to ruin. But what you must see is that both parts actually have your best interests at heart. You have to understand that no part within a person is actually against them. In order to create any improvement, you need to approach the issue at hand with this understanding in order to create alignment between these opposed parts. We do not war with ourselves, war with others, and bring that external war within. It is not our war. All right, guys. So I do read this book, but I do occasionally, interject my own thoughts. I'm pretty sure they're discernible, but let me know. All right, I am gonna pull one last card. What time is it? All right. Guides of the Hidden Realms Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. I do like her. I just went to a webinar. I'm not a member of her communities. I'm not a member of any communities because they all cost money. And it's not a bad thing to spend money. I'm just, I want to be purposeful and understand where to spend it. And I also believe that and I don't make any money from my videos or anything. I'm not monetized and I don't intend on being monetized actually. I just decided because I don't want ads cutting up my tarot reads. When I realized that Facebook is just going to stick ads on my content, I was like, oh no, we're not doing that. But I did think that if I were ever to generate funds from Willow Root, such that, I could pay outwards, like really luxury items instead of bills, it would be, probably joining one of her communities online, because I do think she's a very talented reader and I like her personality quite a bit. Quite a bit. All right, so this is Guides of the Hidden Realms. Colette is over at Hay House. That is a publishing company. Hay House Publishing, hayhouse.com. I highly suggest visiting that site if y'all have time. They have just a slew of talented authors, deck creators. Y'all may know Radley Valentine. I'm going to absolutely raid his closet one day, and that blazer is mine, Radley, the one with all the sequins. Kyle Gray, love your accent. I think he's Scottish. They both focus on angels. Colette Baron Reed is just a badass. She can do whatever the hell she wants. She just dropped an album. Give me a break. Hello, sister. Rebecca Campbell is also at Hay House. There's just a ton. I'm not mentioning them all. They're fabulous. They also offer free webinars. You can go listen to them. I love it. Okay, let's go to Guides of the Hidden Realms, Colette Baron Reed. She drew these. She painted these things on giant canvases. She showed us one of the canvases in one of her free webinars. It is gigundous. And then they shrunk it down to a card. It's so amazing. They didn't actually shrink the canvas, just picture it, right? Yeah, because we're not like Ant-Man. All right, let's look at this. The Consequence of Fear, card 20. Ooh, so 20. So if 0 is a non-placeholder, we have 2. 20, and then we take the 0 away because we can't add it, we can't subtract it. It's not holding any value, it's not holding place. So it's not a placeholder. And we have 2. In 20, we take the 0 away, we have 2. 2 in the major arcana. Yes, 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 you are right. It's the High Priestess. The Consequence of Fear. Contraction. The frequency of fear. Self-fulfilling prophecy is all on the card. There's light language at the throat chakra leading down into the solar plexus. Gorgeous. I love the graphics. Love them. And if you're like, I don't know, are there star seeds that your genetics would have, if you were on your own planet, would have provided you with like giant eyes? Because these dudes all have giant eyes, and it kind of gives me a starseed feel. All right, so 20. Oh. The Consequence of Fear. Fear is a natural emotional reaction meant to keep us safe from danger. It becomes unhealthy when it's inappropriately prolonged. When our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are fear-based, and we keep rehearsing those fears, then our expectations, choices, and behaviors align with this energy. We begin to notice more and more reasons to be anxious and stressed. And we unwittingly send out a frequency that keeps us forever on patrol against outside threats. This, I'm going to pause and just say, this can be coming from anywhere, guys. It is not necessarily created from within, and it is not necessarily easily self-regulated. Are you familiar, perhaps yourself, or those you know that are constantly watching the news and are scared shitless that our world is falling apart? They're reacting to what they're seeing, and they're choosing to see hate and fear. Choose to not watch that. Choose to not tune into that. Choose to not tune in and align to that. You can be perfectly aware of what's going on in this world without watching Fox News shove it down your throat. Or MSNBC, whatever. Okay. Lately, you might be more defensive. Oh, goodness, I was a little defensive there, wasn't I? Let's start that paragraph over. Lately, you might be more defensive, engaging in people-pleasing, or isolating yourself to avoid hurt. No matter what you're doing as a stress response, it's time to step back and let it be. Let it be. The Beatles sang that song, let it be. You can't change the outside world, but you can make an internal shift. First, ask yourself, are you taking notes? Guys, write this down. First, ask yourself, is this decision based in fear and a need for control? Is this decision based in fear and a need for control? Am I afraid of rejection or reprisal? Am I afraid of rejection or reprisal? Where do I need to say no? Where do I need to say no? Then consider the act of radical allowing, letting everything, both people and circumstances, be exactly as they are without question. In doing so, you also make room for your authentic self. Soon the fear will show itself for what it is, a temporary illusion. The power is in your attention. Oh, it's powerful. The power is in your attention. It is, y'all. It is. Whatever you put your attention, whatever you notice is important, regardless of what others say. If this card had been reversed, or if you simply feel more in alignment with this meaning, this is for you. The consequences of fear-based decisions made in the past are revealing themselves to you. It's a good thing you can take a step back and repair whatever appears to be fractured. Having a sense of humor and a lot of self-compassion would be helpful now. Allow yourself to regroup in your own time and shift your perspective. You are not a failure. You are not flawed. And you have made no irreparable mistake. The questions to ask are, where am I placing my faith and trust? Where am I placing my faith and trust? And why am I expecting the worst or viewing through the lens of lack? Why am I expecting the worst or viewing through the lens of lack? You made choices from the perceived energy around you then, guys, then. You made choices from the perceived energy around you then. And you will get to make different ones in the future. Give your fears to your higher power, whatever that is to you, and act as if you believe you are in good hands. How could you not be? Life on earth is a spiritual experiment after all. Woo! God, she's a good woman. I like Colette Baron Reed. Yay! I've never met her, but I like her. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see more than 2 feet in front of me. Woo! Okay, we are going to hold on for one moment. To those of you joining from the live stream, I'm going to say goodbye. I will. You can remain with me in the Zoom room for a moment if you like. I'll shut that down next. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this channel, and please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. All right, you guys are fucking awesome.